Hello everyone, welcome to Nirja Education. This is class 8 science lesson number 1, the crop production. In this lesson we are going to see the continuation of the agriculture practice, that is the last one, harvesting. Before seeing this video, please go through my previous videos, then only you will get the connectivity. At the same time, please subscribe our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Now, what is mean by harvesting? In the previous agriculture practices, we discussed how to prepare the soil, how to sowing the seed, then how to add the manures and fertilizer, what are the protection we have to take for the cropland. Now, once the crops grown very nicely, so at the time of matured crops, we have to remove from the field. That process is called harvesting. What is mean by harvesting means, it is a process of cutting and gathering a matured crop. After the crops mature, we have to cut and gather the crops. That process is called harvesting. So, whatever the crops matured we are taking from the land, that crops are called crop yield, are also called produce. So, what is produce? What is crop yield means, whatever the matured crops we are cutting and gathering, that gathered crops are called crop yield or produce. Right. So, now, how we have to do for the harvesting process? This can be done by manually also by the help of the agriculture tool, that is called the sickle. You can see this is the image of the sickle. With the help of the sickle, they can cut the matured crops. This process is manual process. The second one is they can collect and gather the matured crops, mechanical thing, that is called a harvester. So, what is harvester means? A machine which helps to cut and gather the matured crops. Right. These harvesters are different. One more variety also is there, that is called a combine harvester. What is the difference between harvester and combine harvester means? Harvester only harvests the crop, but the combined harvester, it is doing the remaining process like harvesting, threshing and winnowing. So, all the three process can done by one machine. That machine is called a combine harvester. I hope you have understood. Right. The next one is we are going to discuss about what is the remaining process of threshing and winnowing. So, harvesting, threshing, winnowing all are continuous process. Once we collect and gather the matured crops, we have to go ahead the next process, that is called threshing and winnowing. So, what is threshing? Threshing is done by separating of grains and husk from the harvested crop. So, what is threshing means? The harvested crops are separating from the husk. Right. This can done by spreading of our harvested crops on the ground and walking over it. With the help of certain animals, they can walk on that. So, automatically what will happen? The grains and husk will be removed. This is done by manually. Otherwise, we have to go for combined harvested. So, that will be removed. The next process is called winnowing. What is mean by winnowing means? Separating of grains from the chaff. So, you no need to get confusion, threshing and winnowing. Threshing is nothing but separating of grains and husk from the harvested crop. Then winnowing means separation of grains from the chaff. Chaff means the outer coat. Right. This process can done by the help of wind. You can see the images, winnowing how it is there. I am going to show all the images, harvesting, what is combined harvester and winnowing and threshing process. So, this winnowing can done by the help of wind. So, here the wind is a main role, because it separates the particles. As we all know that winds carry the lighter particle away from that place and the heavier particles are fall. The same procedure only following in the winnowing process. This can done by the help of wind. Wind blows away the lighter chaff from the mixture. The grains fall on the straight on the ground, the lighter particles like hay and chaff, it is move away from this. So, whatever it is fall near to the place, they will collect, that is called grains. Remaining particles are dust and unwanted materials. This way they can separate. So, this process is called winnowing. So, I hope you have understood the last step, that is called harvesting. Harvesting is combined threshing and winnowing. So, harvesting that crop is called produce or crop yield. This can done by the machine is called harvester. All three process also can done in a large scale area. That machine is called combined harvester. I hope you have understood. Now you are going to continuation of that next process of harvesting, that is called storage. We done very nicely harvesting, threshing and winnowing. Next we have to go for storage. So what is storage means? The grain, whatever the harvested grain need to be stored safely. That process is called storage. So normally the food grains, whatever we are cutting and gathering from the crop land, that maybe contain some moistures, some content of water material. So if you keep the same as it is means, it will affect certain growth of fungal or bacteria. So it may be spoil the grains. So before that, before storing the material, we should remove the water content. So that what we can do means, we can spread harvested crops on the land for under the sunlight. Due to that, what will happen? The moisture content will be evaporate. So the grains become dry. After that, we can store in a gunny bag and we can store in a godowns or silos or etc. So what is gunny bag? We know that small bag like structure. Then silos, but it's a cylindrical tank which helps to store the bulk amount of grains. Granaries and godowns are the area which is used to store grains. This storage can done by two methods. One is dry storage, another one is cold storage. There are the two methods they are using for storage purpose. One is dry, another one is cold. So what is mean by dry storage means, I already told the food grains are need to be dry under the sunlight because it contain more amount of moisture. So we have to check the moisture content should be below 14%. So moisture should be below 14%. We have to check by weight. After once everything it is the content, moisture content is less means, why we want to keep below 14% of moisture means, this condition only the microorganisms will not affect. So we can prevent the harvested grains. So that is the reason we have to check the food grains below 14% of moisture. After that we have to wait and packed with the help of canny bags and stored in a silos or granaries. But before storing we have to check the entire room. It should be ventilated. Without ventilation the moist content is more inside the room, also fungal bacterial growth is possible. So that aeration should be, ventilation means aeration should be must. So that area we have to store the food grains. This method is called dry storage. Second method is called cold storage. What is cold storage means? Below lower temperature. In this method food materials are usually stored at low temperature. Very low temperature they can store certain food materials. That process is called cold storage. Here most of the food materials, what are the food materials we can store in the cold storage means, those who are the food materials having very short shelf lifespan like fruits, vegetables. So that type of materials we can store under the cold storage, right? So this is the process of storage. Storage means after harvested crops we have to store safely. So before that we have to dry, the moisture content should be below 14%. Then only we can prevent the crops from bacterial or fungal growth. Then it can be done two process. One is dry storage, another one is cold storage. So dry storage, under the sunlight we can remove 14% below the moisture and weighed and packed with the canny bags and silos are stored. So before that the room should be ventilated. Then cold storage, certain food materials, those who are having short shelf life, that food materials like fruits, vegetables we can store in the cold storage. I hope you have understood. All the agriculture practices is over. Thank you. Have a nice day.